Hello, beautiful souls. Christopher Michael here, November 1st, 2025. Hope you are doing well. I am putting up my first video today in honor of this 111 angel number. Today is the next stage in the finishing out of this 9-year. As we finish this year, as everyone knows, there are many changes happening around us. And I thought I'd share a few ideas. Some things that came up recently, and then based on the feedback I'll provide additional information. I think we'll have some fun as well. I want to do some irreverent tarot here in a little while too, just to have some fun and show you guys a few things. The first thing, it'll be a zinger. You'll probably click on it because of the title, but the biggest gift that God ever gave us is that life is meaningless. Yeah, that can kind of hit you. I remember when I first heard it, I thought, that is ridiculous, and it kind of pissed me off. But as time went on, I came to find out there's a lot of merit in that. And what it means is you are given the complete freedom to give meaning to anything that you view in your life. Whatever you choose to believe is what you will experience. And it is you that chooses how large that box is. Do you self-impose shackles of a very limited view? Do you continue looking outside of yourself to other people, averages? Are you just being realistic? Well, ask yourself this. I mean, seriously, right now. What is real? Define it. Is it the consensus of somebody with a special credential? Is it the average of the people that you know? Is it your impression of what you think other people believe? Is it a statistical model? Is it today? Is it what was true 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Is it 10 years in the future? All of these ideas are fleeting. So what may be true today, layers, context, and additional information may give you a different view 5 years from now, 5 minutes from now. Totally depends on the situation. I find that most times when people use the word real or being realistic, it is them seeking external validation for the limitations they've imposed on themselves. I believe my family wants me to do this. My boss will allow me to do this. Society expects this. Let me just put a mask on as the social lubricant to just make things easier, because that's just realistic. I don't want problems. Nobody really does. But at what cost? When you lose your own authenticity, you're being disingenuous not only with yourself but with others. And if you think about it, all these people are walking around every day living based on a collection of experiences, educational level, talents, the ability to comprehend, study, access, cultural beliefs, societal beliefs, etc. So where does that leave you? What is true? What is false? It kind of creates a very esoteric concept, and we could have a long conversation, but keep that in mind, that realistic is the limitation you place on yourself. So now let's go on to a second topic that was on my mind today, and I saw a channeler talking about consumption versus creation. And this one hit me hard. I know I was supposed to see it. It came in at the perfect time. Technology is amazing. We have little computers in our hands. You're looking at it probably right now, or a laptop or computer, whatever you're using. And the technology that exists now, only 20 years ago, was considered like a supercomputer. The technology you have, and will continue going there, and that's fantastic. You have access to anything in the world at any time. The challenge that goes with that is you are taking other people's opinions and agendas and understandings, and without consistent use of discernment, it can leave you in a, what I would call, spin out. If you ever get that, where you're looking into your little black mirror on your phone, people call it doom scrolling. I don't think humans were designed to see every single problem under a microscope all around the world at all times. We have a limited bandwidth here. I mean, in considering everything happening at all times, only 25 years ago, this didn't exist. I mean, you might have a local paper or the evening local news or whatever the case was, and you saw a little bit of this, but it wasn't, 10 of this crime and 10 of this crime, and here it is, and you're likely, here's a statistic that you're going to be subject to it, and so on and so on. And before you know it, you're in this spin out going, what if, and you're living in fear. That's not helpful at all. The only way to truly help yourself is to come to a center point. And the simplest thing, doesn't matter how much money you have, how much experience, breathe. Let me make this comment because I see it all the time. Like, I really love music, and so I'm reviewing and many different sources on that. And you'll see a lot of times people get up on the stage, especially new people, and they'll say, okay, take a deep breath. Here's what they do. That is not a deep breath. I think people need to realize that when you're breathing, it's not only the expanding of your lungs, but it's also the energy that's going along with your nervous system. So when you breathe in and you go, simple as that. Give yourself 3 minutes of 15-second breaths in and out. 8 in, hold for a few seconds, breathe out 4 or 5 seconds. You're worth it. If you're stressed out, it's so easy to look for whatever your favorite coping mechanism is. And I am not pointing fingers. I have tried every single one of them. I used many for a very long time. And after a while, it becomes very unsatisfying. Just because you numb the pain, the frustration, the fear, the anxiety, it doesn't make it go away. Man, I was never even really at a place to talk about this. Kind of embarrassing, but I know I'm not the only one. Almost everyone I know has an addiction. And whether it's a sanctioned addiction or whether it's an illicit one, it doesn't matter. It's the same concept inside of you. Are you drinking, smoking, whatever type of pharmaceutical or narcotic? Are you binge eating? For instance, I saw this just 2 weeks ago. Did you know in every can of Coke there's 10 teaspoons of sugar? I mean, can you imagine having a cup of coffee and doing 10 full teaspoons? Oh my God. People are drinking 6-packs and 12-packs. You go to any one of the drive-thrus and they're handing you out a tanker soda full of it. I mean, anyways, I digress. But the point is, at those levels of consumption, you are literally using sugar, food as a drug. So let's go back to center. Consumption versus creation. We have this need to feel happiness, love, acceptance, community, cooperation, advancement, fulfillment. That's what every human wants, these kinds of feelings of positivity. We want to avoid pain, suffering, frustration, anxiety, those types of feelings, obviously. So our body is letting us know. So when you feel those tense feelings inside and you're feeling frustrated and you can't quite get done what you want done and so on, give yourself the gift of breathing. It's free, and it really works. I challenge anyone to slowly take 10 deep breaths in and out and not feel that, because it actually stimulates the entire nervous system, working with the vagus nerve through the center of the entire body to calm yourself. Another nice little thing, and we'll get into this more in another talk, but humming. I just found this out. If you hum for 15 seconds, I believe it was, you can increase nitrous oxide levels through your heart and within your body by up to 1,400%. And without getting too scientific, that is the chemical in our body that releases pressure on all of our veins and blood system. And by releasing it, we have less high blood pressure and a relaxing feeling comes afterwards. So everyone's heard of Om. Just a little hum, 15 seconds. It's amazing. It really works for me. You know how people say they're doing an exacerbation? That's the same type of concept. We naturally know how to self-soothe, but people say, why are you sighing? Why are you doing this? Stop it. Don't listen to them. People say a lot of things. The sooner all of us can learn to stop listening to what other people say unless we seek their counsel because of that relationship, the far better off we're going to be. Because most people have 10 million points of reference. They heard something one place, another, their friend knows this, they saw a tile on whatever social media website, and they have no other reference other than a singular memory with no context, research, or understanding whatsoever. And while their heart might be in the right place trying to help you, the validity of the information they're giving you is either not relevant, not correct, or works for them but doesn't work for you. So that's where discernment comes in, and you want to definitely consider that. So on this macro topic of the consumption versus creation, there will never be full fulfillment if we are always consuming more than we create. And we're talking in general terms here, but every day, if you spend 9 hours at the office, an hour on each side of it before and after work, you're screaming, yelling, honking in traffic, you're doing this, you're going home, you throw on some kind of a violent video game or movie, you're doing doom scrolling through social media, you're taking your favorite coping mechanism, and then anesthetizing yourself enough to fall asleep just to repeat and repeat and repeat. It's going to be very challenging to feel happy, fulfilled, at peace, and without anxiety. And there's a critical difference, and I realized this a long time ago. I hear so many people, including myself in the past, where say, well, because of this substance, I sleep so much better. There's a distinct difference between knocking yourself out so you're unconscious versus getting good sleep. I promise you, you can drink enough, smoke enough, whatever the case may be, of things so that you are no longer conscious, but that does not mean that you are resting well, and it certainly does not help your nervous system or your state of being. So, when you come into creation, this needs to be a broader term. Well, absolutely, it's wonderful. Choose your art. Do you like to do music, painting? Do you like to dance? Do you like to write books? Do you like to teach people? Do you want to volunteer at the old folks' home? Do you like to work at a dog shelter? Whatever it is, and by creating, I mean being like of service and to create new things. They're under the same type of a category. So, what are you doing with your hours in the day? So many people say, I do not have the time. I don't. Well, you do. People make time for that which is important to them. So you can throw out whatever kind of excuses. There's 10 million of them. It's this or that, and I'm not worthy, I'm not capable. That's the story you tell yourself. That's what you're going to continue to experience. It is by moving past that and getting really honest with yourself, taking these radical accountability, that here's a fact: nobody is coming to save you. You hear me? Nobody is coming to save you. You are the only one that can save yourself. Happiness, fulfillment, direction in life, actions taken. And just to add a level to this, the things that I'm talking about, I not too long ago came to realize these are the things I needed to hear for myself. So like when I feel like I want to share with other people, teach them things, a lot of times they're also creating a more concrete position within myself, putting words to it, creating structure. At the end of the day, we can, as part of the development process, there is the thinking, so research, information, how do I do it, planning, and so on. So you have the thought, you might even write it out. But there's a second part. So many people are well-intentioned, and they think, and they think, and they think, and let's manifest, and let's pray, and let's do this. But then Where's your action? You have to take an action. This is for me too. Take action. Video number 1. So you have to take and match your thoughts and plans, your creative actions, to match your physical actions. That's the only way it's going to happen. And then give yourself the grace to realize you're not going to be as good on day 1 as you are on day 365. But also remember this. Every single day, take one step forward. Get 1% better. That's all you have to do. Make one next decision and take action on it. 1. And you know what's funny about it is, it's contagious, because I promise you, if you work for a whole week where you make a healthy, positive, productive choice for yourself, 1 every day, by the time you hit day 5 or 6, you're like feeling, oh, I'm pretty good at it. Also, like before you go to bed every night, literally, like give yourself permission. Say, acknowledge yourself, congratulate yourself on doing this, and truly acknowledge that. Build that confidence within. And when you get to that 5 or 6, you're like, I did 1 every day. I bet I could do 2 tomorrow. And you know what? You probably can. And as you do that, the momentum builds and builds and builds. But even if you do only 1 thing a day, by the time this date rolls around next year, you've just taken 365 intelligent, planned out actions towards your goal. 1 page in a book, I mean, that's a whole book done. If you want to learn a musical instrument, 1 20-minute lesson a day through YouTube or your favorite paid app or whatever it is, or in person. In a year, you're going to be amazing at it if you want it. Whatever your talent is, so just keep that in mind. Just focus on what are you giving your attention to, because energy will flow where your consciousness goes. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on all the poor me, this is bad, I can't do it, this and that? You're just going to keep getting it. Or you can say, I understand that, and I want to move beyond it. So, but how do you do that? How do you do it when you're in spin out and it's like, what if? Oh, I'm scared of this. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, this politician did this. This businessman did this. Oh, the interest rates are this. The job market's this. Fill in your excuse. There's 10 million of them. And a bunch of people believe them, and a bunch of people don't believe them, and a bunch of people really don't care at all. And at every moment of your existence on this planet, no matter what you think, no matter how intelligent and how well-meaning you are, a bunch of people are going to agree, a bunch of people are going to disagree, and a bunch of people will not care at all. That's a fact. And the only thing I can say for that is, you got to find a way to let it go and get over it, because there will never be a point when everyone agrees with you. And honestly, who would want it anyways? How boring it would be if we all thought exactly the same thing, felt exactly the same way, did exactly the same thing. It would not make life fun. It would be actually really boring. You can do anything you want on this planet. There are every race of people, every culture, every kind of food, every kind of artwork, every type of dance, every type of religious or spiritual outcome you want, every kind of nature. Choose what you want to do in your life. And don't let... The other thing I noticed too is the rear view mirror. Most people are so busy driving their car, figuratively, for their life forward, and they only look in the rear view mirror. Well, let me ask you a question. If you go get in your car right now, start driving down the street, and the only thing you look at is the rearview mirror, you're going to crash. You can't only look at the past. Yes, it's a good way to learn lessons and to create safety and so on, but it cannot be your only input method. If you only say, it used to be good, you're missing the whole point, because the only fact that happens in this life is change. And humans spend an inordinate amount of energy, time, and resources trying to prevent change, and only to their detriment. It does not work. Everything always changes. So be aware of it and go with it. One of my things I like to do, and I'll link this into the driving analogy as well, is Bruce Lee was famous for saying, be like the water. As water goes down a river, it goes around rocks and sticks and under bridges and so on. but it never comes back. It just keeps moving. Those water molecules that touch you while you're in that creek will never come by ever again. They just are fluid and move with it. And this was one of my biggest pet peeves, was kind of a road rage thing. There's so many people that are busy playing on their phones, talking to their kids, totally zoned out, probably intoxicated of various varieties. They're cutting you off and flipping you off. I bet everyone's had an experience like that. I finally realized most of these people are completely oblivious. They have no idea who you are. They have no idea you were there. They're not there. I'm not saying it's right. I believe everyone should be safe and respectful on the road. However, I think it's kind of beyond my control at this point for that to ever happen. So I always figure, let's be like Bruce Lee. Be like the water. Just go with it. I remember watching some of the movies of, like, getaway drivers. He's working with some team that robbed a bank, and he never gets upset when someone pulls out or does this. Just go with it. Roll around. Be like the water. Now, I'm not saying do criminal activities and drive like a maniac, like a bank robber. What I am saying is don't get upset about those things. And here's the other thing I added to it. Give yourself the gift of grace in saying, I am gifting you 2 car lengths and 3 seconds of time so that I am not in danger. I have not jeopardized my internal state, my happiness, my anxiety, and I've created safety around us, allowing you to go. Maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe you're going to the hospital. Maybe someone died. There's a million reasons. You never know why that person's acting that way. And really, at the end of the day, do you remember the guy that pissed you off 3 years ago, 10 miles from your house? No, you're never going to remember it anyways. Give it 3 seconds and 2 car lengths. That's a gift. You give yourself, not them. At the end of the day, everything is about your internal state. Because without creating that internal peace, you will never find external peace. So that's a whole bunch of stuff as I go on and I'm figuring out on my first video how to talk to people, what topics, what people find interesting, and so on. So I had this fun idea. Just a little background on me. I am 45 years of age, living in California, and I've been on a spiritual journey for a number of years, working on meditation, considering philosophies, looking at myself. One thing I think is really good that everyone may appreciate, it's the story of the bison. And most people I've asked have never heard the story, but we've all had traumas, frustrations, failures of different types or outcomes that we didn't want. Number one, I don't really consider it a failure unless you stop trying, because part of learning what does work is also learning what does not work. And so if you are able to, from a calm place, say, okay, towards this goal, this was not effective, this was not effective, but this was, and with improvements I can get where I want to be, you now have effectively started creating your system to reach your goal. So there. But secondly, when you have those past traumas, those frustrations, those trauma loops where you spin up in your head, and trust me, I know I've had them 10 million times, where you start going and you just see red and you can't get out. The only way is to be like the bison. So in Yosemite, in Yellowstone, in the center of the United States, there is huge herds of bison. And they are a very unique herd animal because they have an innate energetic sense of when a blizzard is coming. And they are the only herd animal, when you consider like cattle and goats, they run from the storm. The bison intuitively know the storm's coming, turn the entire herd towards it, and run directly into the center of it. And they keep running until they get through it. And what scientists were able to discover was that by running through it, they have far more members of the herd make it through because they spend less time in the storm by directly confronting it and going through it versus running away. They spend more time getting caught in it, where the weak, the old, and the sick die of other species. And I find that fascinating, but it's completely appropriate for us. We all know those little feelings whenever you think about this topic, this situation, this person, this job, this whatever, and you go, whatever your feeling is, you know that feeling of yuck. The only way it ever goes away is to go into it directly. You have to go in. You have to allow that feeling to be there. And at all times, I always say, your angels and guides are waiting. Please help me right now. I need this. It's really a hard topic for me. And when you go into that feeling, allow that feeling to come through. It's only resistance that makes it worse. And by pushing it off and holding it down and suppressing it and medicating it and so on, it doesn't go away. It gets worse. It only screams louder over time, like, ah! It's a system that is not being released, and too much energy is going into it and not passing through. When you go directly into it, you say, okay, I do not condone these actions, activities, the outcome, whatever it is in many of these cases, but it was a lesson for me. What information can I get? Whether it's, I don't like that situation, I don't like how the person treated me, I don't deserve this, or I could do this differently. I have new boundaries that I need to enforce for myself to live happily and healthily. Whatever these cases are, you have to figure out what is the lesson you learn from it. When you come in, now my initial tendency when I was learning about this was, screw you, get out, that kind of a negative push. But that doesn't work either, because I'm just creating more resistance. You have to, what I learned was, after you go through, consider all that, learn the lesson. And I'd say, thank you for the lessons that I've learned, and then I release it. And I always just picture it going out to the horizon and seeing it convert into pure white light. Thank you, and you allow it to go. And include breathing and so on with it. The one thing I will warn you, it's typically when you think you have 5 of them, that's just the top layer. And after years and years of working on this and meditating and journaling and reading and so on, we are definitely, like Shrek said, ogres are like onions. We have layers. I think humans are definitely like onions, because every layer you pull off, there's another layer and another layer and another layer and another layer. And then you go through and you'll find out, oh, wow, what I understood a year ago, the lesson, well, in year 2, there's a higher lesson. In year 3, there's a higher lesson. And when you're healing all these other things, you start getting cumulative lessons. And the way I think of it is, we're in a series of bubbles. Bubble, 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 bubble. And the more we keep exploring all of them, bringing our conscious awareness in, the more that we start understanding ourselves. And the biggest thing we have to learn is, I love myself. I am divinely worthy from the moment of birth of all that I want, and I don't deserve to be treated there. So create those boundaries, and also give yourself the ability to adjust them over time. What works for you today might not work in a year or 5 years or whatever it is. So be aware of that. And every time you feel yourself coming into those judgment periods, okay, I feel this resistance, this frustration, why is that there? And then feel into it, breathe it. And if you don't get it, because I didn't many times, I don't know, I'd say, all right, spirit angels, please bring in synchronicities, understanding, help guide me to find the answer. But then look around you, the numbers, look at the messages on the screen. What song? I get a lot of messages through lyrics of songs. As a matter of fact, I'll start hearing songs and I haven't heard in a long time, and then it'll play and get louder, and then I'll look up the lyrics and there's messages in it. Certain lines in movies, all of a sudden I'll be like they guide you to hear it, but you have to pay attention. So stop saying, oh, it's just a coincidence, dismiss it. Oh, that couldn't be. Oh, that was just me. No. We are part of infinite consciousness, having a human experience. Everything means something. Just be open to it. And then give yourself, like I said, I work on this grace all the time. I don't get it right every time. I'm constantly learning, growing, and evolving. And I love that of it. So when things don't work out how you imagined, and they almost never work how you imagine, just go with it. It's usually a better way. Also, when you're feeling the resistance, I'm trying to do this, and it's like doors are slamming in your face. It might be him saying, hey, this is going to work out really badly for you. So pay attention to that too. I'm not saying give up the first time it doesn't work out. But when you start getting visceral, negative reactions, pay attention to everything that's going on there. So, anyways, we're just over 30 minutes now. I'm going to do something that I've had this idea for a while. I've got this Intuitive Whispers Oracle deck here. And I thought, most people knock, do this. This means I don't study any of these things. I don't, the meanings, whatever. I'm just going to throw a bunch up because we are in infinite consciousness of perfection. And everything happens exactly how it should. So I don't need to follow the rules. I don't need to do what other people did. And as Frank Sinatra said, I do it my way. So let's have some fun here. So I'm just going to throw them all over. Let's see what we got. Clear limiting beliefs. That sounds very familiar to what we just talked about. Now, to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is something that I'm constantly thinking about is the phoenix rising. In essence, when I researched it, the phoenix realized it went through a lot of challenging experiences, then goes into its nest and flaps its wings until it burns itself to nothing, killing itself, where it then emerges from the ashes, completely renewed as its true, authentic self. And I think a lot of what we just talked about was right there. Well, there's card one. I'm only going to do 3. All right, this one caught my... Another good one. So right here, similar, we have the wings, but we also have the caduceus, which represents our DNA, or our divine makeup and all of our programming. And you know how scientists say, 97 or 95% of our DNA is junk. That's not true. It is programming of everything that we have, every past life, ancestor, every aspect of our being, where we are, and so on. And emotions are energy in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. So that's what I'm talking about. Come to the center place, because when you're in spin out and your emotions are like this, how can you make a centered, conscious decision that benefits yourself? It's very challenging. So there's card 2. And the third card I'm drawn to, this one's a little deeper. The unraveling. I think if you were to look around right now, you might see a lot of things happening in the world we would all consider unraveling. Here's the question. See the circle? That's the eye of the storm. If you know a hurricane, in the middle of it, the eye of the storm is the calm spot where it can even be sunny, no wind, perfect, even though there's a hurricane all around us. In this next season of life, as we come into the new 5D Earth, increasing all of the vibration, positivity, the old systems break down, the new ones come. It's coming. It's already here, actually, whether people realize it or not. It's now time for it to manifest and physically, and we're going to see a lot of this change. If you can maintain your center space of peace, love, light, service, cooperation, community, stay there, keep breathing, even when it seems scary. Let me tell you this. You're batting 1,000. You have never missed, because if you had not, you would not be watching this now. You'd be gone. God has a plan. Your angels do. You're good. Have faith. Easier said than done many times, but at the end of the day, it's one of the best things you can do. I spent years fighting this concept of, I will not surrender. I will fight. I will fight. I will fight. It doesn't work. They always say, go with the flow, right? But what I find is almost everyone I've ever met stands at the riverbank, and you see the river rushing by. You jump in the water, you turn against the current, and you start swimming, and it's pouring over your head, and you're gasping for air, and you're fighting it, and I want to make the world the way I imagined it. I want to fight it. I want to control it. And it does not work. It does not change, and it certainly doesn't make you feel good. So the most powerful thing that I continue to get better at is levels of surrendering. I have very strong faith in the powers above. It's way beyond coincidence. There's more stories for another time on that. But anyways, I urge people to turn around, float on their back, and float down the river with the sun coming down on you, breathing, enjoying the day. It's far, far better of a feeling. And I know this is symbolic, but the point to take away is no matter how rigid and how stubborn you are, trust me, I'm a stubborn son of a bitch, you're not going to change it. You can't, and you're not meant to. So, surrender was the most powerful thing I've started to learn how to do, and I keep working on getting better at it. I'm certainly not perfect, but it's exciting to continue to grow and to evolve, and I know you can too. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. I hope you enjoyed what I talked about. I would love to hear any feedback, comments. If you have questions, ask me anything about any kind of self-improvement, spirituality, meditation, ways of the world. I also have decades of experience in business and online stuff and all that too, but we'll get into that at another time. So I love you all. I wish you well, and I hope this helped. See you next time.